Right, hello everyone, back on the plot. It's been about 5 weeks since I last did a tour, so it's about time I did another one. I'm trying to do one every month, but got so many other things to do, don't get round to it. I had a couple of problems with the peas here under the arch, which were looking amazing. Had a problem with pigeons here. I think they just got up and squashed them all down and eating half of them. I had a few off there. They're not lost everything, and there's still a few peas growing, but maybe I've lost half the harvest or something like that. They must have eaten all the flowers. And what I did was I covered it up with fleece when I'd seen the pigeons had been eating it. But then the pigeons started eating the beecher on the other side. So I ended up putting mesh across the whole thing, which was a bit of a mistake because I think a pigeon got trapped and couldn't get out. It must have got out eventually. I initially thought there must have been a bird of prey come down and take a pigeon, but I think it was actually trapped in between in the arches. Couldn't get out, so I can't do that again. Got some nice lavender down here flowering. This lavender I took from cuttings from plants in a little communal area with benches near where I live. I think that's the way to go if you want to grow lots of lavender. Take cuttings. I've tried to grow in from seed before, but it takes another couple of years for the plants to establish. Got the same on this side. There's a weed there to pull it out. This side's not doing quite so well, but I'm quite happy with those. What else? Down this end there's a courgette plant and another courgette plant in a container, and mostly been male flowers up to now, but you can see there courgette's starting to grow too, at least. So another week and probably have a couple of courgettes, so that's good. Down this side some spare spring onions that I'm going to clear soon. They don't look very healthy there, but I'm going to clear that and put maybe another courgette. I've got some growing at home, one called Bianca di Trieste, which is like a pale green one, so that'll go in there, or if not I'll put some kind of squash, a winter squash in there. So that's the arches. And over in the bean frame we had peas in here as well, but the pigeons completely decimated those, so we're going to have to probably cover up the peas next year. They were podding peas, green, Hurst green shaft, but I had to clear all those, so I didn't get anything off those. And after I've put in some French beans, Cobra French beans here, just in the left side of the frame, and just a couple of lettuce there going there. I fleeced it up. The beans were quite leggy. I had them growing at home, so I just wanted to, because we've been having so much wind just for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I thought I'd protect them a bit. Over on this side there's a whole sea of lettuce growing under there. I planted way too many lettuces. There's a bit of parsley there and some spare onions. Yeah, I've got so many lettuce. I'm not going to be able to eat all this, so eventually in the next week or two I'm going to have to clear that out. I'll do another harvest of the lettuce, and then I'm clearing it out, and I'm going to do more French beans. I need to sow the French beans at home. So last year I just filled the whole lot all at once, but this year I'm going to try and split it half and half, so by the time these finish there'll still be beans on this side. Yeah. Right in the corner of the plot here I've just planted a couple of sunflowers, I grew this variety, I can't remember what the name is, but they grow massive and I didn't expect that. So I've tried to make it more secure than I did last year. And this little spare patch of ground there, I'll probably put a squash in there when they're ready to put out in a couple of weeks. And then right next to here is the pallet bed, which is again way too much lettuce, so much that these are going to seed now. And I also grew way too many spring onions, so I need to probably do half the amount next year. But they're looking alright. Very weedy, this bed. But this bed, I need to clear it probably in the next 2 weeks, because that's where the sweet corn's going to go. Here we are over in Fruit Corner. These two blackcurrant plants, these are Ben Conan. And there's loads of blackcurrants on there ripening up already. That's earlier than I expected. So that's looking good. And then just in front of those is our two gooseberry plants. And that one's called Invictus, or something like that. And this one is Hinamaki Red. I'm not sure when they start going red. Should they be red by now? I'm not sure if we got the wrong plant, got sent the wrong plant, or they just ripen up late. I think they meant to be ready mid-July, so there's still time if they're going to go red. I can't see that much sign of red on them. We covered the bushes with this mesh just to keep the birds off, because the birds will eat all those berries, I think, if we didn't cover them up. So that's looking good. Here in bed 5, I designated this bed a bit of a sort of random bed. So there's a couple of Cherokee purple tomatoes down here, they're doing okay. Got lots of flowers on. And here is some more beetroot, Boltardi, and this is an orange variety called Boldor. And then the agretti there, which isn't growing that as fast as I thought it might, but maybe it'll pick up. There's another little bit of agretti down in another bed that's doing much better. And here's the second big problem we've been having this season: moles. I don't know if you can see that. Moles have been digging up pretty much every single bed, but especially here where the shallots are, and in the next door bed. So just have to keep patting it down. I don't really want to trap it, so just got to keep patting it down when I see it. I've probably lost quite a few. I did put a random lettuce in there just because it gets been dug up so many times it's going to affect the growth of the plants. It's quite frustrating really, but I can't really do anything about it other than squash down the hills. But shallots, these are banana shallots. They're doing, still should get an okay amount off there. And this is bed 3, where I've got a load of brassicas. There's I've just been under these covers trying to squash down a load of mole tunnels. We've got calets here. Calets grow really tall like Brussels sprouts, so I've made this cover hoop tunnel quite tall. It's not very secure, but hopefully it will do. And there's also some kale in there that's growing nicely actually. My plan was to just let the kale grow a bit and then harvest it and then take out the plants to then give the colets more room to grow, because they'll need a lot of space. And then down the front here, another kale. This is it's Cavallonera, the kale, and a couple of Savoy cabbages. Yeah, they're looking okay despite all the mole disturbance. And in bed number 1, a few broad beans which are almost ready, I'd say, to harvest. Could probably take a few now. I did have 2 rows of broad beans. I didn't want to grow that many as I did last year, but you can see they've got black fly problems. I need to just snip these tops off. And down by here, here's the agretti that I mentioned. It seems to be growing better here, and a few parsnips there. Parsnips need more room here, but once I take the broad beans out, they should have enough room. And the rest of the bed is pretty much garlic. I was quite pleased with how the garlic was growing, but I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube recently, and some people are getting huge garlic. It's been so warm this year that we should, the garlic we shouldn't be surprised that it's big. But I dug down into this plant here. You can see, and it doesn't look that big to me. I hope the others are bigger than that. I'm just showing signs of garlic rust there, but hopefully they can hang on for another couple of weeks and get a bit bigger. So we'll have to see what the harvest is like in 2 or 3 weeks. Again, the mole's been digging up this bed. You can see, I think that's the mole there. To push that down, that's been probably about 6 or 7 times I've had to squash stuff down, which is just not going to help the growth of the plants. In bed number 2 here, which is another bed that's been dug up plenty of times by the mole, but things seem to be growing okay. Got some funky looking kohlrabi there. I think there's about 4 or 5 kohlrabi plants in here. I just wanted to, it's a bit overcrowded in this bed, I think, but I just wanted to get the kohlrabi to of medium size, and then I'll remove them to give the cauliflower and the calabrese room to grow. And a few shallots down the end outside the mesh. They're doing okay. In bed 4 here, I think the onions are looking magnificent. Still got another 6 weeks to grow, but they're starting to bulb up, especially these exhibition ones. My understanding is onions, long day onions, meant to start bulbing up sort of around the sort of late June. So these seem to be bulking up early, probably because of all the hot weather we've been having. But I'm quite happy with that bed. Last year I covered the onions up because I was worried about allium leaf miner. This year I decided not to. Hopefully that was a good decision. Growth wise they seem good. And there in the carrot box I cleared all the lettuce and the spring onions out and sowed 2 different varieties of carrots. I've done Eskimo and Sweet Candle. I think you can just see carrots just starting to come up just there, but mostly it's better covered in weeds. Look, even a rogue nasturtium there. Now that got in, but I'm not going to weed it yet. I'm going to wait until the rows of carrots are all, a couple of inches high, and then I'll weed it probably. Unfortunately, the mole even gets in this bed. Let's see, it's a bit annoying. I mean, carrots is one thing that you definitely don't want to have a mole digging around underneath. And finally, a quick look at the competition potatoes and onions. I think these are all looking pretty much the same. These are buttergold potatoes. I was a bit worried about stink brain because it was not growing as well as the others. In fact, it does look slightly more yellow than the others. but I think growth wise it's okay. They're looking good. Just had loads of rain, so I don't need to water them for a bit. And here, tucked in between the shallots and the arch bed, we've got the competition onions. Hard to tell which is the biggest at the moment. They're doing better than I thought they would. I sowed these much later this year, a month at least, I think. But they're already really swelling up, even though I thought they were not meant to start doing that for another 2 or 3 weeks. Whose is the biggest? Some people might not be happy to hear that. I think the one at the end, which is banana nana, looks to be the biggest to me. But here's Riz, looking maybe not too far behind. What do you think? I forgot to mention here, look, just under the arch, I've planted some, these are Greek Gigantes beans. Just starting to climb up. They're a runner bean, I think. Bet you eat the beans inside, they grow really big, that kind of size. This is the shed bed. I've got all the potatoes growing. They're growing really madly. I've got first earlies at the back, Caledonian Pearl. I probably could harvest some now, but I think I'll leave it at 1 more week. Yeah, they're looking good, and just there a couple of containers with parsnips in. They'll only get small, those parsnips, but don't really have that much room to plant a lot of parsnips in the ground, so potatoes are looking good, I think. So that's about it. Generally pretty happy. Same about the mole and the pigeon, wrecking a couple of things. Generally I'm pretty happy with how things are going, especially those onions over there. Let's see how things progress in the next month or so. Thanks for watching.